Oh, the lighting in here is not the greatest, but that's not what's relevant. What's relevant is that I am here with myself and anybody else who finds this even the slightest motivational. Um, it's difficult to move on. I miss my daughters a lot, and I have a lot to process. I haven't seen them for over 6 months. Um, and the accidental meeting we had a week or so ago, it posed an incredible challenge because I, as their mother, see how difficult it is for them and how much they are struggling and how much I am struggling. It's quite honestly affected every area of my life. And a series of very interesting events. I mean, couldn't have arranged or planned any of it to happen the way it's worked out if my life depended on it. Um, but I mean, it's affected every area of my life, even my work, even my desire to work, um, my desire to do very much anything at all. Um, it's challenging because I am a worker. I've always been a servant. I've always worked. I've always been out there. I've always been doing stuff with a lot of love and purpose. And lately, um, I don't want to call it depression because I'm not depressed, right? I wake up, I do my morning routine. I eat, I'm exercising, I'm taking care of myself, but there are moments where I really don't feel like it, and I will sit down with the cats and try and figure out what we're gonna do. Um, I want to fight for them. I want to see them. I want to hug them. I want to hang out with them. I want to grow with them like we have been right up until the point where they were taken from me and things ended up where they ended up. And what am I left with, right? Apparently, they don't want to see me, but there's a lot that those girls don't want to do. And whenever they didn't want to hang out with this person or that person, sometimes it's been their father. I encouraged it. I just said, hey, I know you don't feel like it, but there's an obstacle that if you just try, it'll make you a stronger person, on and on. I mean, they didn't even want to do martial arts, and now at least one of them is a black belt. I'm not sure where the my other daughter has stayed with it. I know that she really wanted to, but since I've been removed from their life, it's difficult to know where they're at. And what am I left with? Um, I've decided to take a break from the work that I used to do, and it's challenging because it requires a lot of heart, which I still have, but I'm not ready entirely to. I don't even know how to say it. It's extremely challenging um, because there are so many things that remind me of them, and in that sense, it's extremely difficult to be a strong worker. With your head in the right place and your focus um, in the right way. So I've had to find other work, which has been it's been great. There's no disappointment there. Bills have to be paid. I love getting out. I just love doing things. But it's extremely difficult to accept that quite a bit of hard-earned money has to go towards lawyers to try and navigate a system that is this really the best way to get their attention, my daughter's attention, right? That money could be going anywhere else. I'm doing what I can to set them up financially, but the amount of money that has to go into the legal system to fight to participate in their life is um, just where does it actually get you? And if I stop and I say, "Hey, lawyer," everybody says that they don't want to see me, and when I say everybody, I mean like less than a handful of people. But when I'm being told that the girls don't want to see me and they need time, well, what does giving up and stepping aside look like? Like, do I just I don't know. I don't know what to do. If I don't use the legal system to continuously and consistently fight for some time with them, what is that showing the girls? What is that turning me into? But on the other side, I'm working so hard to get these legal fees paid off, getting me nowhere, that what is that turning me into? Genuinely not a super happy person. I'm working hard. I mean, cost of living is not exactly easy on Vancouver Island where I live, on my own with 2 cats. They're not Instagram stars yet, so they're not bringing in the big bucks. But, it's extremely difficult to have to choose to work, and everybody's like, "You're overdoing it, you're working too much." Well, it's not like you're lining up at my door, uh, helping me pay my legal fees, so I need you to understand that I need to do what I need to do, and what it turns me into at the end of the day is what it turns me into, so long as it feels right, and even though I hear that my daughters don't wanna see me, that's not what I feel. Intuition and vibes don't lie, right? Um, I'm doing what I can with what I have to work with as usual, and I'm being honest and transparent. Um, I mean, I'm I'm not a superstar by any means for doing anything that I'm doing, but I mean, this is where I'm at. How are other people doing this? And I mean, I'm doing this on my own. I'm trying not to socialize too much because this is a lot. It's a lot for me. And people are like, how are you even standing? It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Bury myself under a bottle every day or smoke? Or I don't know what other people do to cope. I take walks and I work out. I meditate. I read. I journal. And this is the way I have chosen to journal because it's how my head works. I'd love to sit down and write it out and whatnot, but does that really give you a sense of my tone, my how I'm actually feeling? Can you see me through my words, or do you let your own imagination run wild and you try and figure out? I read her words, but what is she really like? I think this is a lot more appropriate. And if nobody ever sees this, I'm not sure I care because I'm doing it. I'm doing it for me. And if it helps somebody, that's great, right? It's okay to be vulnerable or brave or however you want to receive this as. I think it's important to talk about these things. Um, I miss my girls, and I find it extremely challenging because I don't know how to fight for them. I really don't. Lawyers are expensive, and you submit the documentation, and then the other side comes back and they're like, "Oh no, we're going to steer it in this direction," and then it's more fees for another documentation, and at the end of the day, what did the girls end up having to experience? We've been alienated from one another for so long that it's like, what now? Now you're going to get the legal system to force them to visit their mother, or the legal system is now in a position where they're like, oh, well, no, the girls don't want to, so we better support that. Whereas, 6 months ago, I was saying you can't be forcing them to do anything, and they were forced to do what they were forced to do. I won't get into the details. Um, but it's just like, with anybody else, it's not okay to force them, but with me, it's okay to force them and on and on and on. Like I don't get it. I don't understand it. Um, MCFD has definitely not been supportive. They're just like, their hands are clean, right? Because the girls are out of the old situation. Who cares about the scars that don't show, right? Who cares about the psychological scars and the traumas that they're going to have to face? But it's going to affect the rest of their life. It will. Um, my daughters are incredibly strong and brave. I won't deny that. I think I've done a pretty decent job of raising them with where we were at when we were there. Um, and I know this because I've also been told that I have amazing, amazing daughters. They're strong, and as young as they are, their heads and their hearts are in the right place. And unfortunately, um, society and our community has put a barricade between us, and it's incredibly disappointing that anybody could be programmed quite so easily. Um, Again, I'd love to I want to believe that my daughters genuinely don't want to see me and they have rejected me as their mother, but I can't believe it because it's not what I feel. Um, and intuition doesn't lie, so all I could do is, continue looking after myself the best way I know how, um, loving them because I love them so much. I send them love. Um, I wanna apologize that to them that this is where they've ended up, but there's gotta be a time where either they or other adults in their life, could support them a little better, right? Because what do people do? We're like in the society, excuse me, in the society and the community that I live in, there seems to be this fake front where, oh, it sucks that your life sucks. I'm so sorry, but they don't really mean it, right? Apparently, nobody cares. Well, either you do or you don't. But if you don't, then you really need to hush up. Right? Because good people with a lot of heart and soul have gotten hurt in this situation, and I keep getting told that I need to be silent. About what exactly? About my pain? About how much I miss my daughters? Like, that's worth being shut up about? No, thank you. Wherever everybody else is with this, I am not okay with it, and my daughters are not okay with it. And, yeah, this message is for a handful of adults in their life. You have screamed it in my face that you don't care, and, I appreciate you at least being that honest. I've also appreciated you calling me and having the private conversations to apologize for lying to me and my daughters. Thank you, um, for being brave enough to be able to do that. And, it's tough to be here because I don't know how to help my daughters, I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to fight this. Even making the money and, being able to pay for lawyers, is it really helping my daughters? But if I don't, what is that showing them? That I've given up? That is one thing that my daughters will never, ever have to have a conversation to me about because I never gave up.